Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. We're switching things up a little bit and I'm heading back out to the barn to finish off the interior. If you're not familiar with this project, a couple years ago I built a barn using hemlock logs. I did the whole thing by myself. There's a big series on this entire project, so if you're interested in that, feel free to check it out. We do everything from installing a roof to the board and batten, the whole step-by-step process. At this point, I do want to work in the barn this winter, so I figured I needed to insulate it, and I'm going to hang drywall in there and do a few other things. This is going to be my new metal shop. Reason being, I've got a pretty cool project coming up, so stick around for that. In this video, everything pretty much goes smoothly. I run into a couple snags. Yeah, for the most part, it's basically showing you how to frame and insulate a timber frame barn, and in this case, round timbers. So thanks for checking it out. Enjoy the video, stick around till the end, and I'll give you a sneak peek onto what we're doing next. Cheers. All right, so I like to start off with what I would consider the biggest pain in the butt when it comes to these projects. And in my case, that's probably the roof rafters. So I'm gonna hang that insulation first, get it out of the way, get some practice under my belt, and then move on to the stuff that you'll really be able to tell, you know, if I did a good job or not, and that's the walls. And for this, I'm using just an R13. It's not extremely insulating, but it's relatively cheap, and I'd like to do this on a budget. Certainly going to get the job done, and I'm actually going to be able to use this exact insulation for basically the whole entire barn. This is a 2x4 wall insulation, and it's 24 inches wide, so you got to kind of be a little careful. If your walls are 16 on center, well, then you'd get the 16-inch wide stuff, but in my case, everything I'm going to do here today is 24 inches on center, so this is the big stuff. This is the 24 inches wide, and I also like this stuff that's backed with craft paper, so you can staple it right to the rafters and staple it right to the framing. I feel like that just makes a world of difference. I'm not entirely sure how you would do this with anything else. I end up using this craft paper backed stuff for the whole shebang, and I picked up an electric stapler, which makes it just go really fast and really smooth. Alright guys, here's where I'm at. I've done the roof in here, in the loft or mezzanine, whatever you want to call it. Whew. And then I just went around and I put in some, I've got here, check it out. If you look over here, I grabbed myself some more 2x4s rough cut, because I'm going to need something to nail to for sheetrock, for obviously the batts of insulation, and plus the vapor barrier. So I went around the whole outside, 24 on center, just like the rafters, and just like my insulation that I bought. So all this has it, plugged them in here, plugged them in here. So what I'm gonna do is, I've got some more insulation. I'm gonna knock all this out, and then I'm gonna throw up a vapor barrier, which is just it's just some 4mm plastic. I think you could do 6, you could do 3, you could do 4. 4 was what they had at the hardware store. And then my next the next tricky part is I've got to do this section, which is what, realistically, I think it's 14 feet from the ground. And I took a stab at it with this here ladder, my grandfather's old trusty aluminum, and it just doesn't hold me. So I got to go get my green one. I've actually thought about doing two things. I've thought about using the ladder to get up here, or kind of doing what I did here with the mezzanine slash loft. Do I make like a platform here, just temporary, and then use my little, you know, my little teeny step ladder to access the roof, or do I try it with the big ladder? So I'm gonna think about it while I install more insulation and vapor barrier, but I don't know, whenever you're doing stuff up high, it's a little sketchy, especially insulation, because the stuff sucks to do on the ground. So obviously it exponentially sucks to do it up high, but either way, let's finish up the mezzanine, let's finish up the loft area, and then we'll tackle that. This is not enough, obviously. 10 by 25. But it'll get us started anyway. Oh, sorry, Lucy. Alright, so I finished up. I ran out of plastic, but I got this wall done. I got that little section done and a couple of corners. And again, I've basically insulated everything I can at this point without having to use a ladder, right? So I use my step stool, but I did the stairs and the loft, and that was all pretty easy to get to. But now I've got to do this section of roof right over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 bats. And I know we talked about this earlier, but I think what I'm going to end up doing, because of the amount of work this other section took, I'm not going to do it from a ladder. I'm actually going to build a little walkway right here. And basically I grabbed some 2x6s, some 7/16 OSB, same stuff I used for the walls, and I actually had these left over from our deck. These are just joist brackets. So I'm going to install these on that joist right there from the loft, and I'll be able to run 2x6s all the way over to here. I think I'll do 3 of them, and I'll make the end ones 48 inches apart, so I can just run a full sheet of plywood and then probably a half sheet of plywood. And then I'll at least have 4-foot section by 9 or 10 feet long. That feels a lot more safe and a lot more manageable. And I'll actually even be able to get up in here. So all those little eaves that you can see sunlight poking through, I'll be able to seal all those up. So that's the plan. I'm gonna get some measurements just across this gap here to figure out how long I need to cut my 2x6s, and then install these joist brackets, throw some plywood up there, and then see how sturdy it is. So wish me luck. This was a nice change of pace after having done a lot of insulating at this point. I'm essentially just dropping these 2x6s, obviously as you can see, one end into the joist bracket, and the other end is just sitting on top of that cross member, that log on the far side, which is plenty sturdy, and that's exactly what this mezzanine on the other side is sitting on. So confident in that. And then as you can see, this isn't like a proper floor. Now I'm going to use these 2x6s in a process down the line, which you probably won't see in this video, but you will eventually. So my point is I'm trying to keep them as long as possible. You know, this is again temporary, so I want to be able to take this apart fairly easily, just as easily as I built it actually, and then reuse all of this lumber. Now what you're about to see here is foreshadowing for the next process. As you can see, getting an 8-foot sheet of sheet goods up these stairs with this walkway in place is a bit of a struggle. Now if you think about what else comes in 8-foot sheets, yeah, drywall. So yeah, just keep that in mind, because it will turn around to bite us a little bit. But better safe than sorry, and I don't want to be doing this on the ladder. All right, feels pretty solid. You can see I lost quite a bit of light down there, but see, check it out. Now I can get to like that little number there. I got a bird's nest up here. They're going away. But I can clean up all this. So it's extremely solid. It's simple, but it's temporary. And then look, you walk right over to the loft. So Ah, sweet. Guess we'll have to come back with some insulation. Yep. You'll see I took a couple of these 2x6s that I had left over and installed some railings on this little walkway. But as you can see, this thing is just like super solid. I'm super glad I did this. It's going to come in handy for the next step, which is the vapor barrier, and even after that, drywall. So way better than a ladder option. Even if I had a solid ladder, I don't think it would have worked as good as this. And I'm just going to skip ahead a little bit here and show you. So this is the workbench that I had in the shop, and it was kind of goofy. It was kind of left over from a different project. So I'm just going to break that down, and I end up burning most of the top pieces in the wood stove to keep the place warm. And really what I'm after is those 2x4s. I need to use those for the studs, which, you've seen me install, but, I hate to, let these go to waste. So I disassembled that workbench, and then I'm just throwing in some more of the insulation around the wood poles there, around the outside, some of the leftover stuff, and just continue on with the insulating process. It's a little bit slow, but thankfully everything is 24 inches on center, so these are nice wide bats, and once you get in the groove of things, it goes pretty quick. Alright guys, quick update here. Kind of figured you were getting sick of watching me do all this insulation. I mean, it's the same rinse and repeat, right? Put up studs and then keep insulating. It's a lot colder in here today because I ran into a small issue, which could have been a big issue. I wonder if you can see the discoloration of the craft paper on there. So that's from my stove getting a little hot and singeing this, which, well, for reasons I probably don't need to explain, it's not a great thing. So I need a fire barrier or a heat shield type of thing. This is all going to be drywalled, and then I'll redo this. But I think a temporary solution is I have a bunch of this left. Well, not a bunch. You're kind of looking at what I have left. I've got some of this leftover roofing from the barn, and I've cut this into 48-inch sections. And I had a little piece of this up yesterday, and it worked pretty good once I realized I had an issue. And so basically, I'm going to install this here and then over there on that side. And kind of quick and dirty, I've actually got some leftover Pergo. This is just that laminate flooring. And this stuff is actually mostly glue, and it tends to be pretty fire resistant. So I'm going to put that up first, and then I've cut some standoffs, just some 1-inch spacers out of this aluminum piping. That's going to go between the ripple tin and the Pergo, so it should stand off of the craft paper an inch, and that should be plenty of insulation or plenty of non-flammable gap. I don't know what you really want to call that. If I do that, the craft paper is actually going to be cool to the touch. It's kind of amazing. This stuff is pretty reflective, especially once I've got it cleaned up. And actually, the other thing it's going to do is, radiate heat. It's going to be on that wall and that wall. It's going to radiate heat out towards the barn. This is my workstation. It's disgusting. So it's going to kind of kill two birds with one stone. Once it's all kind of frozen right now. It's 8 degrees out. So once it heats up a little bit, I will clean it up and it'll be a little more reflective and work a little bit better. But yeah, that's what we're up to this morning. So hopefully I can knock that out and then get a fire started, because it is pretty darn cold in here. Yeah, let's set up a time lapse and let's just bang this out real quick. And then we'll set up a fire and hopefully warm it up. And I'll continue to insulate and vapor barrier. It's a bit of a process, but I think the end result is I'm going to be really happy with it. So let's do it. This process actually went fairly smoothly, and you can see the reason I used this Pergo, well, one is the fire resistance, but two is I needed some kind of strapping to kind of hold these bats of insulation back. Obviously drywall is going to take care of that with the rest of the building, but because I'm not using drywall behind these panels at the moment, that Pergo, it's nice and wide, so it basically held those bats back against the studs to create that air gap. And then as far as installing these goes, because they're flexible, I just started putting in those spacers on the far side, and then kind of bent it out of my way as I installed the next rows and next columns. And yeah, as you can see, it just kind of went. This whole process probably took me 20 minutes. So super easy and efficient. Happy with it. All right, check it out. I'm pretty happy with this. So nice little air gap here. This is just kind of free floating. Got my spacers, you can see. All the way around. This one too. And honestly, that didn't take too long. Look, I've got a great air gap right there. So I think I'm fine. I mean, look, if you're like a fire guy and this is horrendous, let me know. But, you know, keep in mind, I reserve the right to burn my own barn down. But I like it. The only thing I could see going wrong with this design, in fact, if this works, if I've got like cool to the touch behind here, I'm just going to leave it for the final shebang. This is all going to be drywall and whatnot, but I just got to make sure that like a spark doesn't go down in there, you know, when I'm welding or whatever. So this will all get buttoned up, right? But for now, because I'm just doing insulation and stuff, I think I should be good. So I'm gonna fire up a stove. I'm gonna fire up the stove and yeah, see if it gets hot. What else can we do, really? Let's do it. All right, I think that's where I'm gonna end this episode. This is just the beginning. Let me know what you thought. I hope you enjoyed it. Everything pretty much went smoothly. It's a bit of a lengthy process, a little lengthier than I pictured, but again, it's kind of a big barn after all. Next up, we're gonna do the floor, and then we're gonna hang some drywall, and then we're gonna paint it, and it's gonna look great. And then we're gonna outfit the whole interior of the barn, again, for a special metalworking project coming up. So please stick around, subscribe, so you don't miss any of the videos, and let me know how you like the barn series. Cheers, bye.